Hey friends, so I was thinking to myself recently that I have not sat down to design my life in a while. Like to just really, what kind of life do I want, right? Like day to day. I know that in the grand scheme of things, like, oh, I want to be a creative, I want to write, I want to make videos, I want to organize events. Like I've all that kind of big picture sense of myself. That's pretty clear. Music will always be a part of my life. Maybe someday I'll learn jazz bass, little things like that. I have these that kind of vision for myself. I know what I'm like. But day to day, every day when I wake up, and I tend to sleep late and I tend to wake up late, and every day when I wake up, I'm like, I should get something to eat. Then I eat, and then it's like I'm gonna check my phone, see what's up, right? Scroll through Twitter a bunch, Twitter, and yeah, I'm not very methodical about my creativity. I'm not. I leave a lot of it up to chance, and that's not entirely bad. But when I zoom out and I look at how the past year of my life has been, for example, ever since shipping my book. So I guess when I was working on my book, which took like 2 years, right, basically the whole pandemic. When I was working on my book, I was able to use that book as a forcing function, or as like it's the top priority. So whatever I'm doing, I should be working on my book and I should be moving the needle on my book. And even now when I look back, I feel like I wasn't very systematic about how I was working on my book. It was very much all right, let's get up, let's work on the book. I guess today we're working on Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5. And that actually, even that was towards the later quarter of the book. In the earlier stages, I was doing multiple rewrites and I didn't really know what I was doing. So because the project management was a mess, I felt like a mess, and I had a hard time, kind of signposting my progress and celebrating my wins. A bunch of stuff that people do in organizations actually work pretty well for the self as well. And it sounds cheesy, and if you use like LinkedIn language, it sounds unpleasant because of the language, because you associate it with like corporate fake bullshit. But I did write about this in my book. It is important to celebrate your wins, right? To feel a sense of progress. And again, managing your own psychology is the hardest thing of anything, right? Like again, running a marathon is just putting one foot in front of the other again and again, all the way. And the hard part is you reach a physical limitation to how far you can run if you're just starting now. So you need to have a program where you practice doing that regularly, which means you need to get out of your house fairly often to put one foot in front of the other. And then you have to do that like 3 times a week or something. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to all those things. And so the hard thing is managing your psychology so that you want to do it and you keep doing it and you persist and you feel like it's worth doing. And very often we get an idea that, it would be nice to start a YouTube channel, it would be nice to start a Substack, it would be nice. And it's true, it would be nice to start, but like to persist requires managing your psychology and staying motivated and reminding yourself the reasons of why you're doing what you're doing, because you're going to encounter, you have ups and downs, right? And ups are fun, ups are easy to deal with. You're going to have downs, and when you're down, then it's like, this is a waste of time, I'm frustrated, I don't know anything, nothing makes sense, everything's chaotic. I'd be, why am I doing this? I'm just gonna embarrass myself. It's gonna give all the negative thoughts, negative ideas, frustrations, and then you feel overwhelmed. You want to distract yourself. You start, I don't know, watching TV, or in my experience when I was working on my book, I would get emotionally knotted. Is the phrase I'd use, and I would experience that as tiredness. So I'd feel a need to rest, and or just kind of space out, vegetate, whatever. And the thing is, so resting is necessary, but resting can sometimes not be enough. And what's interesting is right now, as I'm talking about this, I have been trying to start working out again. And one of the first things that happened to me when I started trying to work out again was that I kind of hurt it's not really my back, it's actually my gluteus medius, which is the side of my ass, which is like my hips. And so it's a pain in what feels like the lower right of back, but it's actually further to the side than the back, so it's the hips and the ass. And so I have to like stretch and do these like this adductor, I don't know what it's called, but like you got to do some wiggly stuff, and the wiggly stuff provides relief, right? Or getting a lacrosse ball and like rolling it under yourself, like foam rolling or whatever. Doing those things, that's like active resting. And it provides relief that simply lying on the couch or lying in bed is not going to give you. For specifically when we're talking about muscular knottedness, which, and then if your issue is emotional knottedness, right, you're internally conflicted about what you're trying to do, and simply resting will not resolve the issue. It will make the issue feel less bad in the moment. You can distract yourself with other things, right? And this is where people smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, binge eat sugar, whatever, scroll through Twitter, whatever distracts you from the problem. And distraction, and I'm not. There's no point moralizing about it and like me trying to make people feel bad about it. I do it a lot, and so I'm never gonna judge someone for running from their problems, right? It's what we do as a species. We hide from our problems. Remind me later, right? Next, see you later, whatever. And it's not sustainable. That's the thing, and it doesn't. You're not even happy doing it, right? I remember there's this meme a long time ago where somebody posted something like scrolling Imgur happily, and then being reminded of one's deadlines and obligations, and then scrolling Imgur stressfully, right? And I saved that because it was so funny. I don't know where it is now. It's somewhere in my archives of folders. But once you're aware of your issues or whatever you're dealing with, and you're not making any progress on it, chances are you're going to start feeling stressed, and even your coping mechanisms, you can't really enjoy yourself. And I made another video once, right, about like narcissism or something, where if your whole life just feels like you're never going to accomplish anything and you're never going to make progress on your goals, and it's like you're eternally in, just as how you might feel like you're always in financial debt if you have like a mortgage, which I do, and if you have student loans or whatever, you feel like you're always in debt. So what's the point in trying to be like financially frugal or whatever, because you're still going to be in debt? So you might as well just make things like worse, right? You might as well just splurge on something that gives you some short-term shitty pleasure, because higher forms of pleasure you feel are just not for you, like you don't deserve them, or it's gonna elude you forever. And I remember what that feels like, and I remember feeling that in school all the time. I remember feeling that at work, when even though I had great colleagues and stuff, I just felt like I'm always going to be behind on deadlines. So all of the pleasure I have has to be secretly, like stolen from me by my subconscious when I'm tired. And that's just a miserable way to live. And you can sit down at any point and renegotiate your life with yourself. And in a way, that's what, like, while I'm talking about it is my way of doing it. Like by talking about it, I'm reminding myself of it, and then it's just gonna kind of happen in the background processing of my mind that I want to be writing. I consider myself a writer. I spent a couple of years writing a book. I was done with the book. I want to be writing essays. I have all of this baggage about what I think the essays are supposed to be, and so I have been taking much longer with my essays than I would like, and I don't even spend as much time sitting down and writing as I would like. I think that's the saddest part. I think the thing that when I can zoom out and watch, if I could watch a video of myself over the past year, the thing that would upset me is how little time I spent writing. You call yourself a writer, bro. Yeah, that's true. So if I were to redesign my life on a day-to-day basis, I would get up early, shower, have a coffee, and write. Like, just sit down and write. Like, not check Twitter and like check Twitter later, right? Like if I could design a app or whatever, right? It would just be, and some people, when they hear I would like an app, they want to offer help to design it, and I have a whole thing with that. I used to think about that a lot, and now I don't think that's a solution to anything anymore. Like, it's really, I have to persuade myself and convince myself truly that it is a good use of my time to wake up in the morning and write for an hour before anything else, and to derive personal, psychological, emotional satisfaction from that, and then to celebrate that win. And then if I could do that, the year's not over, I can still do it for the rest of the month. And I would like to do that, and I would like to ask friends out and hang out and have a good time. So yeah, I was originally going to title this, I might still title it A Good Day from First Principles. I don't know what else I'm going to title it anyway, but it was nice to think out loud. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys are well, and done.